Boris Johnson was spared an embarrassing defeat for his coronavirus regulations at the hands of furious Tory rebels on the day of his party conference speech. Furious Tory MPs' bid to humiliate Mr Johnson failed on Tuesday after just 17 MPs voted to reject the measures, which also included scrutiny of the lockdown measures already in place on Merseyside. The COVID-19 regulations which enforce the rules on gatherings in England were backed by MPs with a majority of 270. 12 Conservatives voted against the measures, alongside 5 DA members. The regulations are already in force, with the motion simply offering a retrospective vote on it. But a slew of Tories indicated they would abstain, rather than support it, using the debate beforehand to attack government ministers over the scope of the rules. But the government was also accused of running scared after a vote on the 10 p.m. curfew for pubs and restaurants widely expected tomorrow night was quietly delayed. Dozens of Tory rebels had been threatening to vote against the order that all pubs, bars and restaurants in England must close amid claims that is not grounded in scientific evidence. But the 10 p.m. curfew vote, which MPs on all sides of the House had expected tomorrow evening, will now be held at a later date. During the debate, Tory rebels demanded answers as to why children are counted as part of a group of 6 in England. In Scotland, it excludes children under 12, and in Wales children under the age of 11 are not counted. Tory Huw Merriman said he coiled not vote for the public health motion as he feared the rule of 6 will do more harm than good. Mr Merriman told MPs, "When it comes to the rule of 6 I do have great concerns because I do not see the evidence in terms of how this will reduce the rates of COVID. My biggest concern, which I'd say to the government and to the front bench, is this: we are ruling by consent. We need people to come with us." Earlier in the day, a health minister in the Lords revealed controversial justification for the introduction of the rule and why it includes children. Gaffe-prone Lord Bethell said the rule of 6 included children because families were extremely lax over the summer in following COVID rules. Lord Bethell defended the introduction of the measures and said parents were using children's birthday parties to flout the rules and create events where infections were happening. He said, "As a father of 4 children, 3 under 12, I completely hear the point on children, and there are many parents and grandparents here who feel it very harshly. But the research from the front line was crystal clear that people were using children's birthdays, drop-offs, congregations around children to flout the rules and create events where infection was happening." The backbench rebellion on the measure is considered by backbenchers as part of an opening salvo in an escalating exchange of fire between Tory MPs concerned about civil liberties and Downing Street. Rebel MPs are said to have their sights on defeating the government next week when the 10 p.m. curfew comes to the Commons for a vote. Labour backed the government motion all but guaranteeing its success, but heavily criticised Mr Johnson's government's handling of the crisis. Shadow Health Minister Justin Matters the government has been responsible for mixed messages and confused communications. He told the Commons, "We have been clear from the outset that we will do whatever we can to support the national effort by supporting whatever reasonable steps are necessary to protect the NHS and save lives."